Welcome back. Now it's time for the mix. By now, you should have all the ingredients together to exercise on your own with the material you have, with all the edits you've done in the tutorial when you've been editing the voice. You've learned about reverb, you've learned about EQ on the item and on the track. You've learned about the concept of send and return. Sending meaning create a new output out of a track, returning it into the session with a return track, applying an effect like the reverb we know now. You've learned about time stretching. You've learned about loudness, about volume, about stems. You've learned maybe already some shortcuts which you can apply now. And now it's time for the mix. It's time you do your own mix with all you've learned. And this is going to be your hand-in at the end of this tutorial. So what we would like to have in the hand-in, you're going to be putting on our server. Of course, this only applies to our animation students, not to those from outside also exercising with our tutorials. We would love to have your mix on the server with the following requirements. We need an accurate voice edit. So I'm gonna compare when I look at your Reaper file whether you're 2 frames apart, 1 frame apart. We want frame accurate editing. It doesn't need to be on the millisecond, but also try out the pressing the Option key while being in the grid mode. Try this. Try it out because it really makes editing quite easy. One reason I really love Reaper is this action window, because it's the window I can define my shortcuts, as we already know, but I can also filter. So I can filter for everything with envelope and then press shortcut, and all the shortcuts containing envelope are in the upper part of all the modifiers that are possible, or all the actions that are possible. So use the shortcuts to do the voice edit. It needs to be accurate, not to the millisecond, but frame-wise it should be correct. Compare with the mix you already have in the session. Then it's about finding levels. The level you should aim at is the level you have in the www-15loops.wave file. That's your reference wave file to do the mix. These reference files are very important. They're also important for myself. When I started mixing for cinema, for example, I always had a few mixes. I already knew, I had seen them at film festivals. That's roughly 10 years ago when I started mixing for cinema. And those reference mixes were very important because I could always refer to those mixes, because our ears are very sensitive, meaning we can distinguish levels very accurate, down to 1 decibel. So when we have a certain impression of a loudness, for example, of a, I don't know, an explosion in a film, and we have it as a reference in a mix, we can listen to that mix and mix accordingly in the new project. And this is what I want you to learn, or what we want you to learn, is listening to reference mixes and then mix according to that mix your own version of something. In this case, you mix the same, but it doesn't matter. It can be your stop motion you're gonna do a sound design for, or something you did in the 2D animation course. Whatever it is, use reference mixes to find the correct levels. To find the correct levels and then adjust, you use volume envelopes. You can use the envelope in the item or in the take. It doesn't really matter to me. I tend to use the item volumes to do the rough mix and the track envelopes to do the final mix, because there I can mix with more flow, let's say, because I'm always on the same envelope. I don't have to switch the envelopes. So the loudness of your mix should be around matching to the mix www minus 15 loops. In order not to peak your files, have also limiters engaged on the tracks or on the folders. Oh, let me see this folder, because I can also insert affixes here which apply to all the tracks which are in the folder. So I could also have a master limiter here. See, there's already engaged one. You can adjust accordingly. You can also stack limiters. So you can have one limiter here and another one here, and then find the correct volume. And not doing the whole limiting on one instance is always a good choice. So it's always good to have on every instance or on every path, parent and children, and then the master channel, having a limiter engaged. Try it out for yourself. What you can also use is the more creative side of the tutorials you've seen now. So please use reverb on some parts of the voice with the send return concept you already know. Also use equalizing and delay. Your voice does not need to sound in the same way as the reference mix, but you should try for yourself what happens with the voice when I apply the pitch shift, when I do a gradual pitch shift from highs to lows. Try that out for yourself, because it will influence the way you think about sound, and also how you decide for yourself when you need to do a concept for a sound design for your own project. That's about it. Mix it together with the stems, but start with the voice. As soon as I have voice present in a project, I always start my mix with the voice, because the voice is the most crucial element of the mix. When it's present, our ears automatically want to understand, want to listen to that voice. They concentrate in the first place on the voice, because we're so used to doing this without thinking. So that's about it for tutorial 2i. Hello Intensified, do your own mix together with stems. I'm looking forward to hear your final mixes and your Reaper projects. But first, we will continue with the last tutorial of the Hello Intensified tutorials. Render Your Mix will be the last one. Thanks a lot.